Good morning. Anton Roeger serves as Chairman and Chief Innovation Officer for APC Data Analytics LLC. Mr. Roeger works in conjunction with customers and partners to develop analytical tools to fit their desired applications. He works closely with the software development team to launch and implement the application to the end user. So welcome, Anton, and introduce who you're going to be talking to today.
Thanks for everybody's time this morning. So just wanted to introduce my two partners here. Noah Lesk down at the end there. He's a 28-year veteran dealing with technology and software. And I'm on the real estate side of it, so we need Noah to help us out. Jamie Lee Derrickson, she's a real estate agent as well. She's been in the business for 7 years and helped us create this concept and idea and pushing it forward. And feel free to ask any questions at the time. I had one quick question is, who in here is either an agent, an MLS, or a broker? Okay, so we're going to mix. So I assume everybody else is on the software side, the data side. So that's a good mix in here. Yep. So I've been in real estate for 18 years, and I was an engineer before. So that's probably a main reason why I'm up here on the stage is because I got frustrated with the tools that were provided to me by my MLS. And so I had a spreadsheet in the background that I've been working on for basically my 18 years, and I had inputted everything to help me price houses. And what I felt was a more accurate way to do it than what was provided to me by my MLS. Well, over that time, we started developing the concept within our office. And what we wanted to do was, provide something that was, a more accurate way of doing, the business from what was existing already. So what we wanted to do was create our own pricing tool from scratch. Don't take any of the other ones, just start from nothing. And so what we did is we engaged a local software company to help us with this journey forward. So, but part of the problem is we needed the real-time MLS data. And we're in Charleston, South Carolina, so that's where we started this. So, back then, and again, I've been in the business for 18 years. Until about 3 years ago, I didn't even know what RESO was. As an agent, and I think this perspective for everybody, is most agents don't know what we're doing here. And I was one of those agents 3 years ago. But the key thing is that once we realize what it's helping us with, then we got to engage more agents into this side of the business. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to take a minimum viable product. So we basically found a partner. This is when we met Noah because we're the real estate agents. We needed help on that end. So we found Noah, and then we imported from RETS. So this is one MLS we're dealing with. We imported from RETS, and we wanted to prove the tool. And what we ended up with was a proof of concept with 30 agents in our office. So we handpicked 30 producers, and we said, we want to create this tool. We created with the RETS data. And essentially what we wanted to do was just prove the concept. And we had no idea at that point of taking it outside of Charleston. This was for us to use in our office. So what we ended up doing, if you want to go to the next one, so where we're at, and you'll have to flip over to the chart. So this is just an example of what we created. So this is Charleston MLS. So what we did is we wanted to search. So we're holding all the data on our server. We update hourly. So an agent can put in their search criteria, and then when they hit search, what it's doing is pulling any data that's within the past hour. Everything's geocoded. So what we end up with is 29 results. We've got the active, pending, and closed. We can map around it just like agents do in their MLS. We wanted it to be similar to what those agents were experiencing their MLS. So we didn't want to differ too far from that. So they do their search criteria, and then when they have their information, they generate the chart. So when they generate a chart, what it's doing is we wanted something that was visual, interactive, and obviously accurate. So what we're doing is we're taking the data from what that agent selected, and we have all the results up here. So everything, all the pictures, whatever's in MLS will be populated up in here. So any pictures that are part of the MLS will show on there. So essentially what we're doing is making it more of a visual and interactive analysis. So when we reach this point of a minimal, a viable product, then we ran into a roadblock. So now we're like, hey, this is working in Charleston. What do we do to go to another MLS? So again, not being experienced, this is where we hit our roadblock.
So this is where I interject when they asked me to try to connect to another MLS. Actually, it was CCAR, and at that point, it was we're not going to be writing a direct connection, and I'm not creating my own ETL warehouse. We need to find something somewhere. We went out and found one. But that's the reason we were able to do the things that we're about to do. I did not want to write these connections, especially our application is meant to be very thin. You can imagine how thick that application is going to get if I have to write that all into it.
So once we went to the second one, we obviously had other solutions. Software companies wanted to charge us a lot of money just to make us another set of software. They were more than willing to do that, but we obviously had to find something economical. I heard somebody yesterday, I don't remember who it was in the audience, said they were going to charge them $5,000 to set up a new feed, and we actually had a similar experience. We had a client of ours on the Rhett's Rabbit side that they talked to us, 6 months ago?
We told them, don't do it, and they called back crying.
Yeah, about 6 months later, they're just like, we have nothing to show for our $5,000, and it's gone.
And they were like, who's going to manage this? That's what I asked. Like, you get the product, but who manages it? You're an agent. You don't want to manage IT. I'm IT. I don't want to manage IT.
So once we found the solution, what we ended up doing is that we integrated 6 additional MLSs within 60 days. So very quickly, we added to our base, and I think we ended up with about 75,000 agents that we would have access to because we were able to integrate the multiple MLSs.
Now that's not 60 days of technology problems. That's 60 days of processing, right? Our integration is normally about 10 minutes, and then we start importing. Takes how long to import? Yeah, it's the agreement stuff. So we're not
waiting on credentials.
So technology-wise, we were probably about maybe 12 days max to do that.
So what we ended up with, and Jamie's going to flip back to the charts here, is that all of a sudden, here's the second chart she's going to show. This one is, which one was this one? This is TMLS. So this is Raleigh. So this is the exact same chart and information in a different MLS. So this was our goal, was to basically have everything mapped, through our RESO web API so that we could easily just populate the same information. Any changes we made to our software would be instantly updated across all the data sets. So this one's Raleigh, and then here's one in Charlotte, and I know somebody's from CMLS in here. Here's Charlotte. So the same sort of information, and what we did is we took the drivable. We're in Charleston, so we're smart enough to take the drivable ones to begin with. So we got to Charlotte, and then we realized we can populate any MLS we can get an agreement to. So at that point in time, we started to develop the product further. So what we wanted to do was that now that we knew how to manage the data, there's the Charlotte one. So what we started to find out is that we could do more analytics because of what we had with the data. And the ability to have all the MLSs look exactly the same opened up all our opportunities. So what we ended up doing, do you want to jump back to the Charleston one? So,
and during this process, we had only asked for, this was our very first MLS. We didn't know much about RETs and all the rest of it. I'm figuring that I hadn't coded in a couple of years. Anyway, we only went for a certain amount of data, so we actually had to go back and ask for more data. We didn't even realize we could get a full feed. We didn't know. So iterations of software later were like, well, where's the bedroom information? Where's this? Where's that? So we're going through that process with some of our older data sets even.
So as agents, we again wanted to hit all the pain points. So we totally approached this from where the agents struggle. And we had our beta test group, and now we had other groups and other MLSs giving us feedback. And this is what we wanted to do, is get multiple MLSs to give us feedback for what our software was. So we created an analytics tab. And it's amazing what the data that we have now, what we can produce. We're making seasonality adjustments to houses. We're making market condition adjustments.
Now that's real time, using the data that we just brought down. That's all real time.
And if I run it tomorrow, tomorrow's different than today. So it is adjusting real time every day. It's making adjustments for that. So everybody knows seasonality, right? Buffalo's seasonality kind of looks like this. It's a big curve, whereas Miami would be rather flat. So we're individualizing each MLS based off of their specific seasonality.
Better yet, based off of their data is what he means to say, which creates their seasonality. by data set?
So we also have market conditions, right? So what every agent, clients ask the agent, how's the market, right? What do a lot of agents respond? One of two things, hot, cold, there's not much discrepancy. My argument is, which house are you talking about, right? It should be that specific. And so what we're able to do is we're able to dive down and say, for this specific set of data, the market is good, bad, indifferent, middle of the road. We're making adjustments on the market conditions based off of what the data is telling us. We're not having to make, and again, how do agents make an adjustment for a hot market? What do they do right now? They just kind of arbitrarily add some value to it, but they don't have the data used to adjust for them, but the data is there, and we can read it. We also have, we're able to make a suggested list price, because obviously we know the sales price, the list price, all that data is there. And an important concept we also pulled is that, and I feel like as an industry, we talk about this in the wrong way, is we talk about an average days on market, right? That is, in my opinion, that is so misleading. We should talk about days on market from the correct list price. That's all that really matters. If a house is listed 200 days and the seller makes 4 price changes and they sell in 10 days after the 4th price change, the only thing that matters is the 10. The 190 days, they were overpriced. So what we should be reporting, and we can see it in the data because we can see the price changes, we should be reporting the, 16 on here? So this set of data says if your house is priced correctly, you will sell in 16 days on average. We're not talking about the average days in the market, averaging in the 200, 300 days. We're saying if you're priced right, a little over 2 weeks, you should be sold. So it's things like that we can pull from the data. We have a probability of sale. So probability of sale says, hey, if you go with our suggested list price, here's your probability of sale. Again, the data is there, and across all the MLSs, it all looks exactly like this. You can't tell if you're in Raleigh or Charleston or Charlotte or Atlanta. It all looks like this. So that was a big key for us, was that as we implement tools, we didn't have this analytics tab a year ago.
Not at all. Last time we came to RESO, I think we had 2 tabs.
Yeah, we had 2 tabs, and that was it.
2 tabs, and we were only doing one type of property. Oh.
So,
Yeah.
so as soon as we make a change, the change goes across the board thanks to RESO, right? Because we're speaking a consistent language, if we make a change internally, it just updates automatically.
It makes it very easy for us, again, RESO, with the attributes. At least we know where the data is going to be.
Yeah, that's good.
We can't always say that the data is going to be what we want or expect, because, again, we are mapping data. We're not normalizing data. Normalizing, to me, is, I'm actually changing, let's say a standard status is a great one. We all kind of need that, right? We need to know what we're processing, whether it's sold, active, pending, active, contingent, pending, something. So we got to code that. That still has to be coded today, because we have to handle the information that's coming through. So, that's a big difference. But as long as the data is where we expect it, I can make code to tell me what that means. So we're halfway there, right?
Yep, and we just implemented this notes tab, as we call it, for agents. And again, everything is driven for what the agent wants. The feedback that we're getting, everything's driven. So here's basically scripts for agents. So these are scripts for agents to explain the market and what's happening with their specific set of data. So we're basically scripting based off the charts information.
Now, why is that important? Zillow, AVMs. All we do is build tools for agents. We're not trying to build anything for the public. We're only here for the agents. So we believe the agents have to have a tool in their back pocket that actually tells them what a real house price should be. And we got it.
Yeah, and this is an agent's login, and it's not a public-facing site in any way. It's specific for that agent and that MLS. Do you want to flip to back to I think we're on last price change. So, and things like this in here. So we're creating a field, what we're calling LPX DOM, last price change days on market, right? So a buyer, they say, oh, well, the house has been on the market 200 days. Well, they just changed the price 2 days ago, so it's like a brand new listing again, right? If they made a significant price change, it's like a brand new listing. So just because it's been on the market 200 days doesn't mean it's going to last another 200 days. So we're creating new fields of what we feel like is really relevant for an agent.
Right, and that plays right into the APC price days on the market. Excuse me, our APC days on the market.
Yep. So, I mean, it's the same theory. It's like if the house is priced correctly, it should sell in a certain number of days. Back to the scripts. So on the scripts, what it's saying for this house that was 16 days on market on average, it's saying if the seller has not received any offers within the first 16 days, they might need to lower the price or address common feedback complaints. And again, so once agents get used to using this, all the scripts are there for them. But again, it's for them. It's designed to help them address their clients. So this is all the feedback we're getting. We're putting back into the software. So another thing, yeah, if you want to flip to the. So another thing, what we've done. So this chart's in ABOR. So this is in Austin. So what we're able to do is, again, the chart looks the same as the other ones. The house price range is, what's it, 411 to 419. So this house is roughly worth 415. So this is the same chart as we have. However, now we're crossing property types. So what we've been able to do is look at this next chart. This is the same house. So same house. Now we're saying that same house will rent for around $22.75. So we're able. This is the exact same set of analysis that we're doing in the ABOR. So we're saying, so think about this for investors. We're crossing property types and saying, here's how much a house would rent for, and here's how much it's worth. So we're able to cross those fields. We're working on the vacant land right now.
We'll have complete tools for every for residential and commercial and corresponding AVMs with APIs.
And again, because we can use the RESO web API, that's the only reason we're able to do this.
It's making it so fast for me to develop. It's incredible. I used to have to write my own. I'm a Y2K guy, military, right? I used to have to write everything from scratch. I don't have to anymore. So it's awesome. I didn't have the internet available. I had to do everything inside the military or NSA. It's awesome.
So, and again, we're able to do all the geocoding with the map. So on the map tab, it has everything geocoded still. We're even able to place if the house has a specific address, we're able to place the house on here. We just did a generic search. We have the traditional list format. And again, here's all the data. So anything that's populated in the MLS, we can, again, it looks the same.
Right, so this is what, again, being new to this industry 2.5 years ago, that's a CMA, that's a prettier CMA. And if you go to the chart, you'll see all that data actually visually represented, and you can see things. We've discovered that in certain cities there have been changes to laws related to Airbnb. You guys want to buy some cheap property? I mean, we can tell based on what's going on in certain markets. Hey man, if there's 45 for sale, why is there a reason? We find out they changed laws downtown where you can only rent an Airbnb a few days a week now instead of all year. So everybody had bought those condos to have those Airbnbs. So flooded the market.
It's reading the market specific to the set of comps the agent runs. And I wish I had this tool in 2008 and 9, because it would have been telling me to get down on the price below where the average is, because that's where the market was headed. It would have analyzed the absorption and said, I know your neighbor sold here, you better go below that because of what's happening. So if we had this tool back then, this would have been very useful. You can even, just how quick we're working with the data. If there's, let's say, you can see this one's a low-lying dot down here. It could be a foreclosure or short sale. If the agent realizes it's not a relevant comp, they delete it from there, and that quickly we can, readjust everything based off of that. So, and again, it's because everything is mapped the same. And go ahead.
And how does this have to do with AI, right? Well, actually, the way that this is all being built, we expect data to be in a certain location. Therefore, I can actually train a brain. We've got clients now that are at multiple MLSs, and we're already, again, everybody wants AI. Let's be clear. There's a lot of smart software we can write before you need a brain, right? A bot doing something. Good bot for us would be like looking at pictures, right? Are pictures, not relevant? Should they not be in the listing and things like that? But there's a lot of smart software we can write before we even get. But because of, again, RESO, it's so easy to do. So it makes AI possible nationally is the point. If we can get it all in one spot, we can certainly do it. And again, there's clients today, like I said, that we have that aren't asking for AI, but they're asking for analytics. I mean, like, the algorithm itself is what the magic is. It's not all this stuff that we do with it. It's 18 years and it works. That's what's awesome. So now we can actually tell people as soon as a property hits the market or burn an MLS completely and price every property on there in about an hour and a half, right? And give it to our client who's paying for it. And then we can also aggregate that, tell them on the market. Can you go back to the chart? Whether you're ascending or a descending market when I cut it into fours, and depending on where you're at, I can give you your flip. If you want to find a flip, the ones that are lowest priced, right, in an ascending market. They like that a lot.
Yeah. And again, it's important to point out, all of this is for agents, right? This MLS access that we have as a third-party company is because of the agents. So we're designing everything for the agents. If an agent has an investor, we want to create tools to help them with that. If they want to find flips, we're helping them create tools for that. So everything is driven off the agent's wants and needs.
And we're the small guys with a RESO web API, right? So we got to be custom, and we're good at it.
Yeah,
so we do a lot of custom
and again,
work.
this was developed by agents, obviously with Noah's help, but this was developed out of Charleston, South Carolina, out of a specific office, because we felt like we wanted something like this, and we just started from scratch. And the only reason where we're at is because of RESO. Yep. Any questions in the room? Thinking about the.
Anybody other than Jeff?
Okay, so you have RESO compliant fields, which makes it, you're able to launch products very, very quickly. Well, how do you handle specific fields that maybe not be RESO compliant that each individual MLS likes to use? Like where I'm from, views the Ponderosa Pines is a big thing. So how do you handle that?
We'll pull up Miami.
I don't.
Miami's actually on Bridge,
Yeah.
just directly connected to Bridge API.
Right.
But Miami, we've created those fields. In the search fields, we can customize those. So like on that left side, customize anything you want. If the data's available, we can do anything you want. That's true. Man, I used to work in the
So
government.
here's an example. So Jamie's just going to the Austin Rentals. So it's going to show you all the different fields that, specifically for the rentals on the search. So it's going to populate here. So, signed you out. So we can, any of these search criteria, we can customize, to your point, we can customize for your specific area.
And we do, because we think it's important. There's certain things about every one of your areas that are probably unique to some degree, and that's very important in our pricing algorithm, that we catch unique things that you may have. In South Florida, we have a lot of waterfront. In other places, we have a lot of land, or we have over 55. They want to know that, want to be able to search that. Houses with a pool.
Yeah,
we're getting asked some pretty specific stuff.
So to your point, here's the rentals, and we have furnished, unfurnished, pets, so you can basically customize it to however you want. And again, it's because all the fields are mapped.
Any other questions? Well, thank you all very much.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.